Ah yes, creepypastas. Those classic internet horror stories that I'm sure most of us remember. Masterpieces like Jeff the Killer, Sonic.exe, Slenderman, and Candle Cove were all a part of my childhood growing up. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but nonetheless, they bring back some good memories. But going back and reading them now, you start to realize that they're kind of bad, like really bad. But it's always fun to go back and see what scared me as a kid, so that's what we're going to do today. I also had my cousin write us a creepypasta that we're going to read through together at the end, so stick around for that. This video is going to be a little different from my other ones, as I won't really be analyzing creepypastas, but more just reflecting and sharing my experiences with them as a kid. Also, a quick update, I just want to apologize for not uploading for an entire month. I'm not gonna lie, I just got really lazy, but we're back. We also hit 200 subscribers, which is insane since I'm still pretty new to YouTube, so thank you guys for that. From now on, I plan to be way more consistent with uploads since I've got more free time, so be on the lookout for those. But without further ado, let's talk about some creepypastas, shall we? I'm gonna be honest, if there was anything that kept me up the most as a kid, it was this thing. It wasn't even so much the story that was scary to me, but the picture itself was just creepy to me as a kid. The whole thing where if you don't send it to somebody, then it'll make you go crazy or something was so scary to me that I actually did send it to people. And by people, I mean my cousins. Keep in mind we were like 10 and I sent them on my iPad, so you could probably assume how that went. The story itself, in all honesty, rereading was not the worst. In fact, I actually enjoyed it. We read from the perspective of a journalist, I believe, who was trying to find information on the Smile Dog image, known as smile.jpg, eventually being sent the image himself and spreading the word through his article. It's not really that scary anymore, obviously, but for the time it was pretty cool and definitely did its job at scaring me. Now I just imagine being sent the image and immediately trashing it cause like, get out of my email. But the lesson of the day is if you ever get sent a picture of a dog with human teeth, make sure to send it to somebody. The Tails doll. My worst nightmare. I love Sonic, and when I was a kid, I really liked Sonic. So you can imagine that when I found out there was a doll of Tails that would haunt and kill me for just playing Sonic R, I was pretty terrified. I'm not gonna lie, I had a phase like 2 years ago where I was obsessed with the Tails doll, wishing there was more videos around it because I just thought the character was cool. While I still think the character's cool, the story's just not good or scary. Apparently one way you can protect yourself from him is to literally just own a Sonic doll. Tell me how, right? This thing is able to hunt me from a video game and is capable of killing me, but is countered by just having a Sonic plushie. If I knew that back then, I would have had nothing to worry about. The story never really explains anything, so while you're reading, it's just kind of this dad buys his son Sonic R. He sees Tails doll on the screen and is for some reason weirded out by it, even though it doesn't actually look creepy. Then he sneaks into his son's room to play the game, and then Tails doll just comes to real life. It's goofy, but that doesn't mean I wasn't up all night looking behind me expecting to see him eventually. One thing I noticed about a lot of these creepypastas is that the timeline of events are always really strange. 1 minute it's daytime and we're outside, and in the next sentence we're back home asleep. But that's what we grew up with, and I wouldn't change that at all. This one is off topic a little bit since it's not exactly a creepypasta, but there's no way I could talk about things that scared me as a kid and leave this one out. It's pretty much just a YouTube video made by Dane Bow where a massive Kool Aid pitcher goes around killing people for not drinking Kool Aid. It's about as stupid as it sounds, but I was so terrified of him that I would cry because I thought he was gonna kill me. For like 2 months straight, I would ask my mom for Kool Aid because I thought if I didn't, he would burst through my wall and like blow up the house or something. There's not much I can really say about it. I just wanted to mention it because it's a part of my childhood I will never forget. I even went back and rewatched it to see why it might have scared me. Out of all the stories today, this one is easily the worst. That's probably because it was meant to be bad, which in that case they did a very good job with that. If you haven't heard of Happy Appy, it's supposedly a lost kids show where the main character, Happy Appy, does regular kids show things, like teach kids lessons and all that jazz. But with every episode, Happy becomes more and more insane and starts to just abduct and kill people in groups like he was stealing drinks from a gas station. At one point, he literally just pulls up to a park in a van, asks kids if they want to see a magic trick, and just kills all of them. It's the absolute worst gore fest I've ever read in my life. Until today, I remember this creepypasta as one of the better ones, and I could not have been more wrong. Part of the reason for that is Happy's design in this image that I'm sure we've all seen at some point. This still gives me a weird feeling when I look at it, but not necessarily a scared one. Though I will say, if someone took this concept and made a serious attempt at writing a story with it, I think it could definitely be great. It's just whether someone would be willing to or not. Maybe they already have and I'm just not aware of it, I don't know. But I think that'd be cool. If you have a lot of free time to kill, you should absolutely read this with your friends. It's truly an experience. Jeff the Killer is one of those stories that almost all of us have definitely heard of before, and if not, then you've definitely seen the picture of Jeff. The story is infamous because of the image that it uses, which by the way is horrifying, and the ones that came before it are even worse. The creepypasta itself isn't really that great. It has its moments though, for sure, like when at a kid's birthday party, Jeff gets attacked by 3 kids who have real handguns and start shooting at him. Keep in mind, these kids are like 13 and 12, and they're at a younger kid's birthday party with guns. It's insanity the whole way through, and while it's not really good, it's a great story to read if you're bored. I remember back then I used to look at Jeff and Jane the Killer fan art for like 2 hours a day and listen to Mutahar narrate creepypastas. Those were fun times. It even inspired me to write my own Adventure Time creepypasta that I still unfortunately have on my computer. Leave a like if you want me to read it sometime, and I feel like I might regret saying that, but it's all in good fun, I guess. One thing I do want to say about Jeff the Killer is that whoever made that photo edit, I hope you fall down the stairs.
Shorter than I thought.
Is there anything you want me to know before I read this? Is there anything I should be aware of that's in here?
No, it's all good to me.
Okay.
It's all appropriate, fun, like children's story, in my opinion.
In a little quiet town where millions of people are eating lasagna, on one spooky spot named Yakumi Hill, lies a ritual taking place by the West Side Church Gang. Is a gang of all fat, short Fortnite kids are binding the fruit cups together. Braddles is recording a documentary and catches this sight of fat kids. They're eating lasagna with fruit! The creepy old man also appears and burps away the and messes up with Yuki ritual and ended up creating a Xanobite, a terrifying lagoon lasagna monster, and Sniper Wolf comes out and eats the lasagna monster. Little does Simper Wolf know the big bad fruit cup gang is back. So they fight and boom pow Amelia shit they win. Now the night passes and they find the sacred camera and they use it to escape Gator Poon, the other dangerous church. The next day, Yakumi the Third finds his pet fish gone named Memo? Memo was his favorite packet toy. In this universe, pocket toy language for Pokeball basketball emoji. With his lil manster gone, he can't fight in the pocket torment. He done did a bad thing and lost it. But the legendary Gator Poon had it, and he's gonna the sacred camera again, but using it cussed a curse, with makes him call himself a bad boy. After this, Yakami meets a fellow fur named John. John then dies for no reason, moving Yakumi to remove the camera. Now, and he fights Gator Poon all alone. But with the power of friendship, he wins. Gator Poon evolves into Hater Raid, the terrifying slouch couch, whose special ability is to cause infinite itching. You'll scratch yourself to death. But he avoids it by thinking about Melina, his goth mom who plays a vampire by Sober Recess. And he himself evolved and finds Fibber, his evolution fish. Now with his gang, BBC Big Blonde Boys, they find the Raspberry camera. What? Then the next day happens. In day 2, we follow his brother Brandino. He is looking for a Halloween party and ends up at one with Midney Tasha. And they end up being followed by a clown who honks every minute and can kill anyone by burping in a Burlington store. They end up at Burlington Burritos. That doesn't exist. They end up at Burlington Burritos on accident and they lose their friends and they end up hanging on the wall as burritos. Shit making me hungry. That's not part of the story. The clown, but the big blonde boys fight the clown and end up with injuries which they use to finish the chipotle sauce and finish their food. Now the clown has lost and the closet is gone with the Burlington burritos. And they end up meeting with Yakumi and his fish to face the final enemies. Taylor Swift Hustle Houston. End up traveling to the back rooms and getting stuck in a level and can't get out. They are lost and his fish dies and his family dies as well. It's just Yakumi, whose real name is Branded, and Branded is all alone in a void with his family gone. And his town being slaughtered by the final boss, and with no hope left, he eats himself to death. Branded is gone, and the world is corrupt. They are all forgotten forever, and his heart he just dies. And all his hard work and memories are all gone permanently. He will never know happiness anymore. And has just stopped anyway, the end. It's just fucking...
Don't forget to read subs!
Can you give us a summary of like what the fuck what did I just read? What the fuck was that?
It was creepy. I think that did the job. It was... So what I did was I copy and pasted my brain onto the note.
Yeah.
And that made the creepypasta.
Right. That didn't help at all. And with that, these are just a few of the creepypastas that were memorable for me, and I definitely have plenty more than I didn't include, so expect a part 2 sometime soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and as always, see you later.